feel like one day we need to do an episode that's just a behind-the-scenes talk about the podcast. And the fact that Hollie and I make faces at each other the whole time, that Sean gets really angry when we do this, that we always inevitably have a part where we all just sit awkwardly like, should we get to the next bit? Hello and welcome to Good for a Change. This is the podcast where we aim to combat the awful everyday news you hear with stories that will make you smile. I'm Jarrod, and with me as always is Hollie.
Hello, Hollie.
And also with me is Sean.
Hello.
That was a yodeling.
It felt a bit like something out of a Disney movie or something there. I don't know.
You sound like Owl in
Yeah, but not a good one. like a Chicken
It was
Little.
a direct to DVD.
Yeah.
That was what it was from.
Yeah, it felt very Little Mermaid too.
Yeah.
I love Little Mermaid too, and I won't hear anything bad about it.
Is that the one about her daughter?
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, great.
Or is that
Yeah.
Little
I have
Mermaid
no idea.
3? I don't know.
I can't remember.
I have no idea, but we
I
have
like
already
it.
got way off topic. We haven't even begun. Are we excited?
Yeah.
Are we ever?
Who's most excited?
Your stunned silence is very reassuring. More Disney films.
Me. I'm most excited.
Okay, well, let's get off Sean's. I'm assuming that was Roz from Monsters, Inc.
Yep.
Okay, let's forget that ever existed.
Was it? Was it Ross?
Was it?
No.
No, it
No, it
sounded...
wasn't.
No.
It's just good to know that we've tested the idea of doing a Disney impressions podcast, and it's not going to work. So
I do a solid Mickey Mouse. I'm not going to do it now, but I'll maybe when we reach 1 million subscribers, while I'm getting a Wombles tattoo, I'll do a Mickey Mouse impression.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Okay, Hollie, can you please kick us up a notch?
Can I ever? Do you want to hear a story about turtles?
Yes.
I only want to hear stories about turtles.
Do you want to hear a story about very cute, smiley turtles?
Obviously, that's what we're here for.
So this is about the Burmese roof turtles. They are from Myanmar, and they were thought to be extinct in the 1990s. Spoiler, they weren't. So they thought they were extinct. Everyone's very sad because they are, and we'll put a picture on the Instagram, the most adorable turtle you've ever seen in your life. They've got like little happy
Are they
faces.
more adorable than that? What was that turtle? Franklin?
Oh.
Oh.
No, I didn't like
Remember
Franklin.
Franklin? I used to love Franklin. You didn't like Franklin?
Not a Franklin fan.
I'd say it's cuter.
There we go.
Okay. Well, there we go.
They're very adorable. And they have reason to be happy because they weren't extinct. So in 2001, they found one of them in a pet shop in Hong Kong.
Okay.
I know, weird place to come across one, but they found this turtle and they were like, huh, okay. And then Gerald Kuchling, who is a professor at the University of Western Australia, teamed up with some people in Myanmar where this turtle is from and was like, okay, let's find these turtles. Unfortunately, there was a monsoon, so that got sidelined.
Oh.
So this professor went to his local Buddhist temple and he was looking in a turtle pond at his local Buddhist temple and he finds 3 more of the turtles just on a whim.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, so who was out there declaring these things were extinct in the first place?
I don't know.
That sounds like there was someone out in the field and they were like, this is a difficult job counting turtles. I'm just going to write 0 in this column here.
Yeah. I'm branding down.
I'd say there's no happy turtles.
So they've found 4 of these turtles,
Yes.
even though they're meant to be extinct.
Yeah, so they found 4.
Okay, my question is, what kind of turtle expert just happened to walk into a pet shop in Hong Kong and went, I reckon that's one of them smiling turtles?
I know, what a coincidence. Like, who would know? The fact that, like, they went, not only that is an adorable turtle, but like, oh, that's this adorable turtle, and that's meant to be extinct, but it's obviously not.
Yeah.
So he finds these 3 more, and they, with the Buddhist blessing, they are taken from that pond and they are moved to the zoo so that they can. I think there was 2 males and 1 female, and they were moved to this zoo. And then there was a fisherman, similar area, who was like, I don't mean to be dramatic, but I found like 7 or 8 of these turtles.
Yeah, someone hasn't done their job properly.
This guy was like,
Someone's getting fired.
no stinking way if you found 7 or 8 of these turtles. So basically now what's happened is they have bred in captivity nearly 1,000 of these turtles, and they're going to be released back into this river, and the river gets closed off so that the turtles can, like,
They can thrive.
breed every year. Isn't that incredible? 0 turtles to 1,000 turtles in only 19 years.
Wow, that's
incredible. But yeah, I want to know who's the guy who declared them gone, and is he sitting back now going,
Ooh,
I didn't think they'd check.
I mean, the thing is, I feel like if it was a less cute turtle, maybe you wouldn't notice. But
That's
it's a
true.
very cute turtle. Basically, they're not considered in danger of being extinct anymore.
Well,
Like,
that's good.
that is the work that has been done.
Are they still considered endangered?
I'm not sure. I haven't got a yowie of them yet. So I couldn't tell you for sure.
So what happened to the one in the pet shop? Did that get taken away and is now in this pond?
Yeah, I assume it
Or
was
this
taken
river?
to the zoo.
Do you reckon they had to buy it? Or do you reckon they got given it?
Probably. I wonder if the person who found it bought it was like, oh, I should grab this.
I wonder if they got it for a bargain. I wonder if it was like,
Oh, that's a bargain.
it was just
Yeah.
like, oh, regular common turtle, $2 kind of thing. And he was like, oh my gosh, this is a rare Burmese roofed turtle. Is that the name
Yeah.
of it? Yeah. This is probably worth a lot more.
I feel like the $2 turtle is not a real turtle. Like if you buy a turtle for $2, like you've got yourself like
That's an eggshell.
that's an eggshell that someone's put like a smiley face on.
It's a snail with toothpicks attached to it.
Still with-
Yeah.
Oh dear.
When Holly and I were up in Townsville last year, they have a aquarium there, and part of the aquarium is also a turtle rehabilitation hospital, and we got to go around it and have a look at it, and they had like a patient, I guess you'd call it, in at the time. And it was really cute. It was like, it was flipping around in this little tub, and they were healing it. There were a few that were in at the time.
It was very cute.
But very specifically, we're standing around it as a group, and we're told, don't put your fingers anywhere near it. It will eat them, kind of thing.
Because it's a wild turtle. Like, this turtle isn't a pet. It is like this turtle sees a worm and it eats a worm. So if you put your little 4-year-old fingers in there, yum, 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 gone.
So, most of the sane people in the group are standing away from the tank and being like, oh, that's a nice turtle. There's this one kid, though, and he's, like, got his hands up on the edge. And Holly and I think, are the kind of people that, like, when you see someone doing something wrong, or, like, you see someone that's probably about to lose a finger to the turtle,
Stresses me out.
it stresses you out, kind of thing. And we're standing there both like, and just waiting for, like, this child's mother to say, like,
Get your finger out the turtle tank, Jeremy.
and the mother did not. And I swear we were going to see a child leave the room with only four fingers.
Luckily, he was in a hospital.
Well, a turtle hospital.
Turtle hospital.
But
What was the turtle getting done? Was it like getting a little like nip tuck?
yeah, just a little facelift.
Do you know what it was? I think they eat a lot of rocks. Most of them were in there because they'd eaten too many rocks.
Which sounds like a random thing, but it can obviously like weigh them down and things. So
Thrilling.
it's not
Well,
gonna
that's why
clog
you were in
them.
hospital for a while, wasn't it, Holly?
Yeah, because I ate too many pebbles. I love the beach, and I
Well,
think that...
if I may talk a little bit about the beach, I have a story that takes place at the beach.
Stop it, you don't.
I do. I'm going to tell you the story of a young boy named Lucas from Tennessee who lost his tooth in June at a beach in South Carolina and was distraught that the tooth fairy wasn't going to be able to find it.
Oh, what do you like, Lucas?
So Lucas's mother helped him write a letter to the tooth fairy, and they put it inside a bottle and they threw it into the ocean.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's your immediate thought is just like, let's not. Okay, look, if you're listening with your kids, you might want to stop the podcast now. But I'm gonna drop a spoiler. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds.
Turtle. Oh,
Tooth fairy's not real. Sorry to drop the bomb. Don't worry, Santa and everything is real, but Tooth fairy's not. Right? If you were this kid's mum, would you not be like, oh, let's just make up something, give him 20 cents and move on with our lives?
yeah, you'd be like, oh, we'll write a letter because this is what happened when I used to lose teeth, which feels like it was quite often now I think about it. As in, like, lose them, not like lose them out my mouth, but like misplace the tooth. We'd just write a note and then we'd leave that note under my pillow and be like, hiya, the tooth fairy, it's me, I've lost a tooth, you'll find it. Please still give me the income.
Well, they threw this bottle into the ocean. I just think it was the mum's, like she just had an empty bottle. She's like, yeah, let's throw it in the ocean. I won't have to spend $2. But a package recently arrived at their home in Ohio, signed from the Tooth Fairy.
Oh.
So what has happened is a stranger has come across this bottle and has sent a letter to the young boy, and has given him a shark tooth necklace as well.
Whoa.
So the letter reads, "To Lucas, good news. Mermaids found your tooth and gave it to me." So now, he's going to believe in mermaids. Sorry, spoiler alert. Also not.
Well, they are real, but just the other way around. It's fish head, people legs. It's not what you think it is.
It's a mess. The mermaid wanted you to have this shark tooth to remember your vacation. Brush your teeth 2 times a day, every day, and keep them pretty for me. Flossing is good too. Signed, a Tooth Fairy.
Now, Jarrod, I hate to spoil it here for you, but you've come into this conversation batting that these things aren't real, but you have just presented evidence that the Tooth Fairy exists.
Yeah.
And mermaids cited by the Tooth Fairy in the letter.
You're right. I hadn't thought about that because no one's come forward to say it was them.
No,
No,
it's the
exactly.
Tooth Fairy.
It's the Tooth Fairy.
Oh my god! I think we've come across something, folks. I'd like to take back everything I said about the Tooth Fairy not being real, and I pledge my allegiance to her. The Easter Bunny can get lost, but I'm all about the Tooth Fairy now. I'm all about the Tooth Fairy. So they got a letter from the Tooth Fairy completely out of nowhere. Like, I don't think the mum expected it at all. I think they thought, oh, we'll throw it in there. It'll be a little story retelling, at his 18th or something.
That is the nicest thing. You know what's wild about that is so often you hear like, oh, someone found my message in a bottle, but it's like 15 years later. Like, it travelled quite a long way from Carolina to Ohio. Ohio's landlocked. How did this happen?
They were on vacation.
They were on vacation in South Carolina where there are beaches, so I think they've thrown it in there.
Yeah.
And then, don't get me wrong, someone's probably found it the next day and gone, oh yeah, I'll do something about that, and then has forgotten about it for a couple of months.
Forgotten for a couple of weeks.
Or the Tooth Fairy only just found it because she just started talking to the mermaids again because they had a falling out.
That thing.
I would say 100% that was the reason.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
They've been social isolating.
Yeah.
I love when people step up and do things like this, though. I think it's such a wonderful thing to continue the magic of that kind of thing. Like, it's nice in the first place that the mum was like, it's all right, we're going to do something about it, we'll send a letter, and I'm sure it will make it to the Tooth Fairy kind of thing. For then the next level to be the Tooth Fairy, in quotation marks, returning something and a letter, I think that's lovely. So whoever is working for the Tooth Fairy's PR at the moment has done a wonderful job there.
Yeah.
And if the Tooth Fairy would like to sponsor this podcast, please get in contact with us. goodforachange@gmail.com.
I'll brush my teeth twice a day for the Tooth Fairy sponsorship.
Thanks, the Tooth Fairy.
Thanks to Tooth Fairy. She doesn't even sponsor Colgate, but she'll sponsor this.
I'll sponsor this.
I have a question for you both.
Yes.
How much money should the Tooth Fairy be giving?
Well, I was just thinking about this. Kids get a bunch now.
Yeah.
Inflation.
Yeah.
The most I ever got was $2, and that's a lot. And I remember calling my dad the day... This is only a couple of years ago when I got this tooth fairy. It's only like 2017. No, I was about probably 5 or 6, and I called my dad to tell him that I'd got $2, and he's like, oh my goodness, you're rich now. And I remember for the rest of the day thinking, oh my god, I'm rich. Like, just leave my family behind. God, what am I going to do? Should I buy a mansion?
What am I going to do with all this money?
Like, I remember thinking I was legitimately rich. Now I'm like, no, I wouldn't get out of bed for $2. I probably would. I really would. But, okay, so what do you reckon, Holly?
I think the most I ever got, and I can't remember getting this specifically, but I feel like £2, like a gold coin.
Yeah.
£2, and I feel like £2 is a push as well. I usually only got 50p to a pound.
I feel like for the big teeth, like I've always had big teeth, but especially like I look like a rabbit, like my 2 front teeth. My goodness. I feel like if it's for a big tooth, like one of the things, worth a bit more. Don't get me wrong, if you lose one of those like crummy little ones from the back, you're gonna get 20 cents, right? Move on. How did you used to present it to the Tooth Fairy?
Just chuck it under the pillow.
Yeah.
Straight under the pillow.
We used to put it in a jar filled with water and put it under our pillow. I don't know why in water. I'm gonna have to.
It's like an accident waiting to
And we
happen.
put it under our pillow and we go to sleep and we wake up and the tooth would be replaced with the coin.
Did the water change color? Because I feel like I've heard of a lot of instances where people put the tooth in like a jar of water or a glass of water on the side of like the sink or something in the kitchen at night.
Yeah.
And when you come back the next morning, there's like a coloured water and the money in the one of the coloured water.
Oh, the money would be in the water.
Yeah, so the tooth is gone, the water is now coloured.
What
and there's
a
money.
weird addition to the tooth.
No, the tooth fairy never changed my watercolor. But like I was saying before, like I know Sean, you're the same. We've both got a tooth missing.
I have 2 teeth
I've
missing,
got 4.
actually.
Do you? My goodness. Well, I've only got the one. Right?
But you had yours removed, didn't you?
Yeah,
Hollie?
for braces.
And you had yours removed,
I
Sharon?
see. I got mine removed. Yes.
I actually have 2 teeth that never grew.
Are they still in there?
No. As in, like, they didn't grow, so that they don't actually exist.
Oh.
So one of my wisdom
You're
teeth...
you're a genetic mistake.
Uh,
You're like
or
God's built a person.
I'm the next level of humanity because, you know, I've lost a wisdom tooth. We don't need their wisdom teeth, so I'm the next step of evolution.
Mate, with those ears, you're not. So, Hollie, when you got yours removed, did you ask your parents the same question? Like, how much am I getting? Like, what's the tooth fairy going to give me for that?
No,
That was...
because I was 14.
See, that was 320... Oh, no, I wasn't. I was 28. I was 28, and, like, this was a $300 procedure
Yeah.
to get this tooth removed, and I want to know my
You
parents...
at least want to break even on that.
You at least want to break even.
Yeah, like mine was on the NHS, which is why I didn't think like I need to organise that. But how
Well-
much did you get?
How much did I get? I feel like, again, gold coin and max for a large one are $2.
It's
Yeah,
weird that
I
you
don't
had a
think it
sliding
progressed into
scale.
I don't think... Well, I think the
Did
thing
you both
was-
have a sliding scale?
Yeah.
Of like size of tooth? I was
Yeah.
like, I feel like as I got older, maybe I got more.
I'm going to be honest, though. I feel like mine stayed around between the
drop.
50 cents and the $2 mark. I
Yeah.
didn't think I was getting shrapnel.
And you see
I was
like
getting
kids,
the big
they've got like
coins.
Yeah, mine too.
$20 and a chocolate bar and 2 trips to Disneyland, and it's like, it's a tooth.
Yeah, don't give your kids chocolate if they lose their teeth.
It's a horrible idea.
Don't give them a trip to Disneyland.
Unless you're gonna be giving them a lot more. You're gonna be giving them a lot more coins with all that good
Yeah.
cavities.
Or unless you want to get it done. Get them all out.
Did
Toffee.
did any of you guys do any of the weird, like, you know, in cartoons and books and things, when they like tie the string around the tooth into the door? Did you guys do any of those
Yeah,
weird things?
me and my dad tried that once.
No way.
Yeah, of course we did.
Of course you did. You and your dad.
Nah,
That
didn't
sounds
do
right
that.
down your alley.
Yeah, I feel like
Did it work?
I don't know if I fully committed to it, but I remember it happening. I remember my dad tying the string to a door. Teeth, man, they're wild.
Oh gosh, Jarrod, I was worried there at the start because when you started telling your story, I was like, oh no, he's telling my story, which I suddenly got very concerned about, that I was going to have to try and scramble and find a good news story. But my story is also about someone losing something at a beach and it showing up again.
Oh my gosh.
I know. My story is about a guy called Doug Falter, who is a surfer in Hawaii. And he's been surfing for a number of years, loves it, and he had a beautiful custom surfboard made, which he rode at, I think it's called the Eddy, and it's a big surf competition with really big waves and things, and apologies to the surf community if I've pronounced any of that wrong.
Mate, I've
You're forgiven.
ruined the turtle community, so don't even worry about it.
I've lost all the tooth enthusiasts.
The dentists are gone.
So this guy was surfing one day, got wiped out, and he lost his board. It disappeared. And he thought, you know, for the next bit of time, he was like putting signs up. He was asking out on social media if anyone in the area had seen his surfboard, because he was expecting that it might wash up on like a beach up the road or something. And then at the same time, he thought if it does do that, maybe someone's grabbed it and it's gone. But 2 years passed and the surfboard was gone. It was completely gone. And then out of the blue, he gets a message, I think it was on Instagram actually, that his board had been found. And it had been found over 8,000 kilometers away from Hawaii in the Philippines.
Wow.
Yeah, some fishermen were out fishing and had found this board tangled up in their nets. And they were just like, we don't need this. So they sold it to a guy for about $40. And I think that's $40 US.
Oh, so I guess it depends on how far off the Philippines it was found. Because if I was in the middle of the ocean doing fishing and found a surfboard, my first thought would be, oh my god, we need to find this guy. Not just like, let's get rid of it.
Not for me.
I think it might have been like close to shore fishing
Okay,
or something.
yeah,
And it was like
right.
caught in a net off his island. And so this guy buys it, and he's a school teacher, and he's like, wow, this is a pretty cool board. And he's like, I would love to surf one day. And it looks like one of those Hawaiian boards, because it's like a 10-foot long board, and it's got like some like artist work on it. And now the board itself, now with this guy, who's called Giovanni, it's really yellow now. So it was originally blue, but it's like really yellow now. It's like faded because it was obviously out in the water for so long, kind of thing. But he sees that there's like a symbol on it, and it's basically the board, the guy that made the board, it's his like signature, I guess. So he does some research into this signature, finds the guy that basically crafted the board, and reaches out to that guy on Facebook. And then it's the guy that crafted the board, puts it on his Instagram, and they track down this original owner. Now, the board was actually found 6 months after it went missing in 2018. But they've just sort of been like hanging on to it for a while.
But even then...
But finally, obviously, tracked down the person that owned it.
For it to go, what, 800 miles?
8,000
kilometers?
yeah.
8,000, sorry. 8,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
In 6 months is pretty...
Must be a good board.
It's pretty wild.
It's caught
I
the
mean,
waves.
that bottle, that went over land. So, anything's possible, Jarrod.
That is a solid bit of
Is it just water? Are there any countries in between?
No, it's just water.
Yeah, it's a big bit of water.
It's just water.
Wow.
But it's
Wow.
So this guy that has it now.
Wow.
Wow.
Sorry, Owen Wilson rocked up for a moment. Oh, wow.
Owen, go. We're trying to record a podcast. Stop it. Carry on. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wow. Oh, there's a podcast. Oh, wow.
So this guy that owns the board now, Giovanni, in the Philippines, he's a primary school teacher, and this guy in Hawaii, he wants to get out to the Philippines now to get the board back. They are happy to do a swap. He's going to give Giovanni a beginner's board, because although Giovanni would like to be a surfer, he's not one yet, and he doesn't really know how to do it. So Doug has offered to give him a beginner's board and teach him how to surf, but also go out to the Philippines and see it. And he's been raising money for this guy's school in the Philippines, so it'll be like a 2-in-1 trip. He'll get to give this guy some money for his school, he'll get his board back, and then everyone's going to be happy as anything and catching some waves and having a good time.
Nice. That's great.
And what I love is, I was like reading an interview between Doug and a reporter, and he's just that like typical surfer talk. Like you can read it in his answers, and it's like, this is...
What's up, dude?
Yeah, it's like he's so laid
Like
back. It's like
the,
it's really cool that...
That was more of a cool teenager. You want like this, dude? Like you want to like sit back and all right. Get out of here, Matthew McConaughey. Sorry, we're being interrupted a lot this episode.
Matthew McConaughey, please leave.
Are you gonna leave Matthew McConaughey? All right.
I love that though. I love that it's all worked out, and he's going to get his board back. Obviously, at the moment, we got to wait until like you can fly internationally and those kind of things again. But once it does happen,
Can't post that, and I wouldn't trust just kicking it back into the ocean, hoping it came back from where it came from.
no, who knows where it would end up?
Who knows?
It's gonna get found by a mermaid.
And then it'll be sent to that kid.
Yeah, as a replacement for the tooth.
The turtles will swim over there. Isn't it weird how we all found lost and then found
Man,
things?
this whole episode is just tied together nicely.
Have you ever lost something and then been like really impacted by it, like as a child?
I'll tell you what, I lost something at the beach once.
Yeah.
And by once I mean maybe 3 times. I used to lose my phone at the beach all of the time.
Was it pinched?
And then you can't, no, I'd just like sit down, I'd be doing my thing, and then I get up because it was Pebble Beach, and it will have like into the rocks, and then the phone is gone.
I lost something in sand, but not at the beach. My primary school had a gigantic sand pit, and it was like the cool place to hang out kind of thing in this giant sand
It's
pit.
where the lads were.
I used to have these little figurines. I don't know what they were, but I had some that were robots. I had some that were like monsters. I had some that were the characters of Robin Hood. But I had this one robot that I really liked, and I was playing with them in the sand pit one day with some other kids. And I don't know, there was like a tower or something, and I put this one in the tower, and then the tower was demolished, and then I couldn't find the thing anymore. Part of me still feels like I could go to that sand pit at that school now, and it's many, many years on, and if I dug deep enough, I would find that figure. I just feel like it's still there.
We're not going to do that. That doesn't really feel like a fun Sunday evening for me.
Well, let me tell you something along those lines. When we were in year 7, one of the girls in our class, Andrew and I, she had this little toy that I think was like a Darkwing Duck, like Happy Meal toy, and we put it inside a jar because we called it Ducky, and we used to like we had a whole like running gag with it for like the full year of year 7. And then we decided that, well, what are we going to do with Ducky over the summer holidays? So we put him in a jar and we dug a little hole and we put him in the ground. And we thought, we'll come back. We knew exactly where he was. We'll come back and we'll dig Ducky up. We came back in year 8 and that whole area had been asphalted over. And so we couldn't get to him. And so Ducky is still in there. Ducky has been in there since end of 2002.
Do you know what I love? I think about this quite often. I think about how archaeologists look back at various things from history and like things that we don't really have a grip on anymore because it wasn't recorded or whatever. And they make assumptions about what the things are, but they don't necessarily know exactly what they are. What I love is the fact that now we are so technology driven that I feel like less things are being written down, say, and more things are being held digitally, and things just disappear from the digital world. I feel like, you know, your hard drive breaks on your computer and it's gone and all that kind of stuff, or you run out of space and they delete everything or whatnot. So I feel like, you know, 20,000 years from now, there are going to be archaeologists looking at our period of time going, well, there's no recorded history. They're going to be digging up the site of our high school, or what was the site of our high school.
Yeah.
And they will dig out from underneath this piece of asphalt a jar with a duck figure in it, and they're going to assume that it was some deity or something that we worshipped.
Do you not worship Darkwing Duck?
I do.
I love Darkwing Duck.
Yeah. He is the terror that flaps in the night. Yeah, that's still there. The only other thing that we lost in the beach, we didn't get back, but we ended up like starting a bit of a new family tradition. My dad had a ring that his father had been given from his dad or something like that, and it went back a fair few generations. And the whole thing was, it goes to your youngest. So my dad's the youngest, I'm the youngest, so I was going to get this ring. And
This feels like the story doesn't end well.
it doesn't end great, but we're at the caravan, and Dad was in the surf, and the ring somehow, he got like dunked in like a pretty big wave, and the ring came off. And Dad couldn't find it. He spent like 3 days looking for it, and he was really upset about it. And so he ended up, for a couple of years, he was upset about it, but he's like, you know what, it's gone, I can't do anything. I think I was more disappointed, because I'm like, it was going to be mine. Like, I was really looking forward to having it. And so instead, my dad ended up finding his father's watch that's like this 1800s really schmick. Like, Dad had it looked at, and it's worth like 10 grand, and that's now. And so Dad's like, oh, well, seeing as I lost that ring, you can have the watch.
I thought you were going to say that he threw it in the ocean, and every year you just
Find
throw
something
something
really valuable from an
else
ancestor
into
and throw it in the water.
Like, this is an old picture from 1746 that someone painted of our family.
Yeah.
It's gone.
2016, we're going to throw it in the ocean.
Well, weirdly, all of our stories have taken place on the beach this week, so if you've got any good stories that have happened to you while you've been on the beach, we'd love to hear from you, or in fact, any good news stories in general. You can email us at goodforachangepodcast@gmail.com, or join us on our new Facebook group, Good for a Change, where we share good news with people from all over the world.
Jarrod, what is good in your life?
What's good in my life? Well, it's funny, you know, we've talked about quite often on this podcast all the nice things that go on Facebook and Instagram and everything like that. But I'm having a lovely little break from social media at the moment, and it's so satisfying. I've deleted Facebook off my phone. I've deleted Instagram off my phone, and it's just been really nice to just not have Instagram and Facebook for a while. I feel like, you know, you hear people say, oh, I deleted Facebook off and my life improved, and now I'm one of those losers. Truthfully, and I don't know when anyone's birthday is anymore, and I'm probably not going to get invited to parties, but that's fine.
Yeah, I've done that a few times where I just step back for a little bit on different social media websites. Sometimes I'll delete Facebook from my phone. Most recently, I sort of stepped off Twitter.
I've stopped using MySpace and Bebo.
I'm all about LinkedIn and Google Space.
Yeah, man. Google Plus for the win.
Oh, Google Plus. So I forgot what it was even called.
But it is so nice. Like, I don't miss Twitter particularly now, and that's a nice feeling.
Yeah, I'm finding myself missing Instagram a little bit. I think if I'm going to come back, it's going to be, you know, hashtag Instagram team. That's probably not a hashtag, but I'm going to get it going. Yeah, it's just nice to sit back and
Just
not
not
have. And you know what? Facebook, I do not miss at all.
It's amazing how much time you can waste on them. Like, you turn around and you're like, oh, I've got so much more extra hours in my day to do other things.
Like host a podcast.
Like host a podcast.
Yeah, well, try,
Read a book.
Well, I do my best.
Ugh.
Sit and stare blankly out into the world.
This leads swiftly and wholeheartedly onto what's good in my life at the moment. I obviously have a lot more time at the moment, and we've spoken before about our Sunday evenings. And today, I, in maybe 2 hours, crafted the most wonderful medieval dress.
Ooh,
Full dress.
fancy.
2 hours. And on the sewing machine, didn't cry once.
That is unusual.
That's impressive.
Holly will normally cry when using the sewing machine.
That's
I hate
impressive.
sewing machines. They stress me out.
Yeah.
This Sunday's theme night is Kings and Queens and Royal Feast. So it's all based on the various kings and queens of England.
Is your mum going as Freddie
We
Mercury?
did talk about it, yeah.
Unfortunately, I have sort of stuck to the rules that it should be the English kings and queens.
Can we just quickly talk while we're on that about Winchester? And my favourite thing, and I don't even know, it wasn't a king. What was it? But my favourite thing about what was that place in Winchester in the UK?
The Great Hall.
We went to the Great Hall because Winchester used to be the capital of England. It used to be where the kings did sit.
Yes, and gorgeous, beautiful town. And there's a hall there with a giant round table. And the best part is that table was made for like a kings and queens like theme party night back in like the 1600s or something.
Earlier than that, it's like the 1300s.
Maybe the 1300s, and then they just went, let's just keep it. And I think it's very funny that they just like kept the decoration up,
Yeah.
but not for like, not for a couple of weeks. They kept it up for 700 years.
That's like me with Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
700 years or nothing.
So Holly turns around today and she's like, oh, I've had an idea. And the next thing she's off. And the next time I see her, and it's probably only like 20 minutes later, she's walking around looking like Maid Marian or something from Robin Hood.
It's got a full flowing sleeve.
Well, I'm excited to see it.
Hi, I'm now wearing the dress.
Yeah, we've had a nice little break that you guys
not experience.
missed all of. That will not experience, and now Holly's now wearing the dress, and I will say it is very impressive.
That's impressive, isn't it? Look at these sleeves. Look how long they are.
Yeah, no, that is genuinely excellent. Well done.
Thank you so much. So much time.
And you've got the happiest look on your face
It's
right
because
now.
I made it and I put ribbon around the bottom.
If you're trying to envision
You're impressive.
what Holly looks like, just imagine someone at a Renaissance fair, but in very traditional kind of medieval garb. If you'd like to not imagine what that looks like, you should have a look at our Instagram page. We'll put some pictures up. That Instagram account is @GoodForAChange_podcast. And then you can see not only Holly in this medieval dress, but all of the visual elements that we talk about through the show.
Yeah. Sean,
Yes.
what's good in your life, my friend, besides your wife's incredible dress?
Well, recently, Holly, my sister, and I have been playing a lot of the game Overcooked on the Nintendo Switch, and it is fantastic.
That's a fun game.
The reason we got it originally, we actually got Moving Out, which is their new game, which is about removalists, and you play it.
Now, we played that, didn't we?
Yes.
We played the demo version.
Yes, you cooperatively
That was
move
fun.
things out of a house, and it's quite challenging. Well, Overcooked, you play little chefs cooking different dishes in various puzzling kitchens that become
More and more
puzzling and frustrating as you go through the game. But we've just been really addicted to it, and I think my favorite part about it is not actually the playing the game itself, but I'll just it'll be about 11 o'clock in the morning or something, and my phone will go off, and it'll be my sister sort of popping up going like, does anybody feel like playing Overcooked?
It's either that or it's Phineas and Ferb at the Mo.
Yes, it's either that or shall we put on some Phineas and Ferb? We're having a great time here on the television. I'd never watched...
You guys haven't gone insane at all.
Not at all.
Nah, we're chill.
I'd never really watched Phineas and Ferb before, and now that we're watching Phineas and Ferb, I think it may be one of the best Saturday morning style cartoons that Disney has done.
Never watched
It's
it.
perfect.
You would really enjoy it, I
It's
think, Jarrod.
incredible, Jarrod.
It's very funny.
All right, I'll put it on the list of things.
Plus, Ashley Tisdale plays the sister, Candace.
Oh, you've sold me?
Yeah, I thought that might be the straw that broke the camel's back on the Phineas and Ferb train.
I'm surprised I haven't seen it then. I am the head of the Ashley Tisdale fan club.
You are.
And we come out of the music. I really like the fact that I just assume everyone's relaxed, but I don't know if there's enough time for people to relax in that 10 seconds of music.
I'm tired now.
Yeah, but like I'm relaxed. I've been asleep for the last 10 seconds, and for most of the podcast, let's be honest. But it's still an excellent podcast, and I'd give it a lot of stars, but I don't know how many stars. Holly, how many stars do you think I should give it?
Oh, it's not how many I think you should give it. It's what you're obligated to give it due to the policy.
Oh, and how many is that?
It's 5 stars. The policy reads 5 stars.
And that's why this episode featured Roz from Monsters Incorporated, Owen Wilson when he came in, Michael Caine popped in,
Ashley Tisdale doing a
Tisdale.
Owen Wilson impression.
and did we have one more guest celebrity? Wait, is that Mickey Mouse? Mickey Mouse, is that you there?
No, I don't know who you're talking about.
No, okay. That must be because we don't have 1 million subscribers yet. But, 5 stars.
I think it is important today also to talk about the sub policy. We've not really brought it up before, but I think it is an important thing to discuss, and that is that you do have to tell 2 friends about the podcast.
Yeah. And if you don't have any friends, make 2 friends and tell them.
Yes, if you enjoyed listening to us and you enjoy good news, please tell some friends, tag them in a post of ours, link them up to the podcast. We're on all the major platforms. You'll also find us on our Facebook group where we spread all the good news and share it around. It's good for a change. You'll find us with the banana in our logo.
You can also follow us on Instagram at Good for a Change Podcast, where we share all of the visual elements from the show.
And we're also on MySpace.
Yeah, we're not.
Dig around.
Maybe
We're on
we are.
Neopets.
Figure out.
Neopets.
See if you can find us.
What a throwback.
Oh, well. Well, thank you very much, Holly.
Thank you, Jarrod.
Thank you very much, Sean.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Jarrod. You're welcome.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye. Peace.